You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Vegas After Show.
Good evening, After Buzzers. Biggest for doing. And this evening, we're here to do CBS's Vegas Bad Seeds, Episode 7, Season 1. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to the UCLA Bruins for tapping that Trojan butt this past weekend on Saturday. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and I'm here with the three incredible gentlemen starting to my left.
Bamm Ericsen.
And I'm your co-host, Nick Perdue.
And I'm your other co-host, Alex Salem.
Wow, you guys just make me sound so...
Yeah, brother.
You balance it out.
Yeah.
So I think the guys after this tremendous win are going to be celebrating in Vegas after the season's over.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great for
For the show.
For the
It's
show.
great for the show.
Vegas, the town, Vegas,
for the
show.
town, for everything. It's going to bring so much more publicity and so much more money and, you know, to Vegas, whatever. Anyway, so let's talk about this episode. It's wild. This was a climatic episode, I believe.
It was.
Right? Yeah.
It went down.
It went down. Some stuff went down.
People were getting capped.
So we start off this episode and we're in the cornfield.
Yeah.
And they pull up Cornero's body.
Picking cotton.
They find this guy.
From a couple episodes
They're
ago.
picking cotton. Got the slaves out there picking cotton.
Wow.
It wasn't that far back.
they have black cups?
It wasn't that far back.
Were they holding
but it
black cups in their hand?
Hey, come on.
They just opened up the Advil bottle and pulled out, you know.
No, but they find the guys.
Wow.
The guys.
Farmer was growing beans or something.
They dig them up, and these are the guys that
Milwaukee guys.
Right, the
Yeah.
Milwaukee guys,
Yeah.
the Union guys, Cornero, the Milwaukee crime syndicate. Two of these guys are buried in the shallow graves in the middle of the cornfield.
Now, what was the name of the gentleman who took him out?
Screwing up the pH balance and ruining the crops.
He was really mad about that. He's like, I want to know who's going to fix the pH balance of my crops.
Who's gonna pay for this?
That's his livelihood.
I thought it was just going to be a thing where it's like, now, Sheriff, they screwed up the pH balance of my crops. I want you to find whoever did this. I want justice for those crops.
That would mean planter's justice.
The Mr. Peanut comes
Peanut
out.
Company,
Right,
yeah.
right, exactly. That would have been horrible. But, flash cut to, we see Jonesy.
Jones. Long
Who
came
is like,
Jones.
he is like,
Loud Plimpton.
he is like Daddy,
AKA.
he is like Daddy Chucky. He is like scary because he's little.
He's like the
good.
fixer. He's got the
He's good.
glasses. He doesn't talk much.
And he has a hat, and it's like the hat doesn't move, and the stiff little suit. He's like,
Well, that's what it is.
He's like a little ventriloquist dummy, but
Yeah.
like a spooky one.
That kills people.
What kills people with a gun? Did he have a silencer on that gun? He had a silencer on that gun, didn't he?
No, it was you
pow,
know.
pow.
He was
It was
just tactical. He was just methodical about
Pulls
it.
out a pillow. And
Now,
then,
the first guy that he bumped off, what I didn't like, I don't know who would be in charge of this, but the guy looked like he got shot in the shoulder. He wouldn't die from that.
well, depending on how much blood he lost,
makeup effects.
he may have been diabetic
Yeah,
or
but
something.
it was the upper right shoulder, and that's not like a fatal for you to automatically cut and then cut away from it and be like, oh, he's dead.
They didn't have enough penicillin.
Being that the second person that he also took out was hit in the shoulder as well, and he survived.
Exactly.
His pH balance.
What also I didn't like was the old lady that he killed was Flo from Alice, and I didn't appreciate it. I wanted her to say, "Kiss my grits." I wanted to hear that.
In that tone.
Just like that.
Everything.
It's a little bit higher. It's
Kiss
kiss my grits.
That was good, man.
That was great.
That was great.
I
That was
think
awesome.
you may have missed your calling.
Voiceover from Mr. Ericsen. So yeah, I mean, I thought she was gonna say something. I haven't seen her in anything in a really long time.
I don't think
but she
it
had
was
a little
her.
cameo
but-
appearance.
Yeah, I don't think it was her, but
I think it was her.
It looked like her, but yeah, they could have gave her a couple words.
Maybe they
Just out
did.
of courtesy.
That
Give,
may-
give an actor a couple of words.
Well, that kind of helped build the character of Jones. That he's just like you just see the apple drop on the stairs.
He tipped his
You're
hat,
like, yeah.
as in like ma'am, and then shot her.
What I like about Jones is he's so smooth with everything, and he always has a plan. So when he first comes into town, you know, he shows his identification, which it says is Lau Plimpton, which clearly that's not him.
Yeah.
And then he says that his occupation, he was a
Wholesale butcher.
wholesale butcher.
Wholesale butchery.
Which is funny.
Butchery, yeah.
Which is really,
Which was
you know,
like lethal.
Yeah.
yeah, which is what he is. He's a wholesale butcher.
Yeah,
butcher.
It worked on
Yeah.
2 levels, I think, is what we're getting at.
Yeah.
And then the second one, is when he had the case when he said that he did carpentry.
Yeah.
And so he's very smooth, he's very calm, he doesn't yell, he's just very cool and calm with it. So that's what I like about
And
Jones.
when he finds out that after Savino is arrested that he's with Lamb, he finds that out by just sort of like walking right into it in a sense, by just calling up the sheriff's office and just posing as he's working in the courthouse to find out that information. And then
As
when
a-
he
yeah, as a
does,
clerk, yeah.
the clerk. And then when he does, all he does is just calls back to his bosses essentially and call in for reinforcements.
But it goes back to what Savino says that he's been capping and taking people off since
As a kid.
since
He was a teenager.
since he was a kid in Milwaukee. So he's very smart. But just
A pro's pro.
really quick, what I thought was very hilarious, and I don't know why, but the real
Lyle Plimpton.
the real Lau Plimpton was a brother.
A fat brother. A tall. He was the actual exact opposite of what Jones
Right.
looked like. He was a tall, heavy-set
Smart.
African American
Now,
man.
I don't know why I found that hilarious as well.
I thought
Interesting you point that out.
It was really funny how
it took him a long time to kind of get
get
up.
off the couch.
It was
Like, do you get off the couch to
Yeah.
square up and tell somebody not to shoot you? Don't you,
know-
like try to get into the couch? It's like, whoa.
Or dive off or something. Or,
He
you
was
know.
like,
Yeah. When someone has a gun, you pop up, but it was like,
It was a leather couch,
Yeah.
he had grease on him, so he was squirming a little bit. That's what happened.
yeah, he was trying.
Yeah,
It was-
I give him an A for effort.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, continuing Jones.
Continue with that.
And along came John.
So, I just,
Yes,
I
Nick.
literally just
Go ahead,
lost.
Nick,
I literally,
go ahead.
I literally
Okay,
just
Nick,
lost
the
a
floor
lot of
is
stuff.
yours.
This is what I want to do. I want to talk about this guy. We didn't have him on the board, but the guy, I don't know what his name is yet. He's one of Savino's guys. One of his.
The guy who got shot at the beginning?
No, not the guy who got shot, but it's one of his guys who does a lot of dirt for him.
Not the guy who
The
used
dummy.
to run the place?
The other guy.
Okay, so
who's
not the right hand guy.
who's going to be protecting
Lara?
Laura while he was like,
what is
I
his
can't protect
name?
you, and he was almost the one. Okay, remember, so Grady wins the election.
Grady wins the election. by the
Okay,
end of
then
it.
it's out. Grady is in. Okay, they fixed the whole thing. But remember when Grady was coming to dinner to meet them
At the very beginning of the
and they were
episode?
talking about how they were going to fix the election or whatever, make sure that Grady won. When Grady shows up, says something about fixing, how the fight was fixed when Laura was using the analogy about the prize fight.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
he says, yeah, it was fixed. Like, this guy he's not
Tactical.
He's not very smooth, or he's not the sharpest tool in the shed. And to me, I think he's going to
He's
turn
in
out
politics.
to be. No. I'm not talking about Grady. I'm talking
Oh.
about the guy who works for Savino. I think he's going to do something. He's like a liability. He's always
interesting.
doing something stupid.
We haven't seen him do it. We have not seen him do a whole lot.
Yeah,
And
but
when
we see
it's
the
like
results of it. Yeah, like he buried the guys in the cornfield.
right.
He
Causing
did that
this whole
stupid.
mess.
Like,
Yeah, and Savino was pretty pissed about that.
it's like, dude, you in the cornfield, they turn the dirt over like every
So
Are you
often.
that
All the time, he
dumb?
says.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I would be like, I would call back to Chicago. I'm like, I want to trade this one in. My lease is up on this guy, and I didn't use all the mileage in his brain.
Upgrade, guys.
He's an
Upgrade.
idiot. That guy's an idiot. He's the same guy that when Savino first took over, he was beating up the guy that was idiot. Even though he wasn't on the topic, he annoys me. I just want to smack this guy through the TV screen, I swear.
That means he's a good actor. That's
No, I don't know. He's too good.
great in the role, you know.
Yeah, he's a good actor. He's doing his thing.
Good actor.
But, let's talk about this protective custody situation, because that's really what this episode was about.
But
It was the fun part of the episode, that's for sure.
it was. It was.
You got Jones running around trying to, trying to bump off Savino. Obviously he knows that they're responsible for Cornero or whatever for the tumbleweed situation. So he's got a lot of innocence taking the fall for him, so to speak. He gets past the guy with the whole "I'm the carpet man"
Oh, right.
deal, and then the guy walks up on him later. Is like, something's fishy about this guy. He's on his way to go bump Savino off.
Yeah.
So, if it was me, I think I would have just shot the guy in the back of the leg. He's pulling a gun out
Yeah.
in the 60s. He pulling a gun out from the small of your
point.
back
But he's also young.
in a
so
private area. Huh?
That young guy? Who
Maybe
gets
he's young.
Shot in the stomach?
Nervous.
Rookie move.
Yeah, I think that just lack of experience, not kind of going with your gut. He just,
Yeah, we don't know anything.
freeze, and
Well, I guess technically by the law you're supposed to do that anyway.
Yeah.
He just had the gun in his hand.
he's not Lamb.
Right. Lamb, I think, would have shot him in the heel. He would have taken him down.
Yeah, I agree.
Definitely.
No nonsense. Taking him down.
So once Jones shoots the young guy, Savino,
The deputy.
he leaves, and then of course Savino gets a shot to his shoulder, and
And Savino is a bad shot. Savino
Yes.
turns after him and can't shoot a gun down the hallway.
He doesn't do any dirt.
Apparently.
His guys do that stuff.
He's been out for a minute,
Right.
Yeah.
Way to go.
yeah,
And
He worked his way up.
he wasn't a sharpshooting champion like
Like Jason O'Mara.
Like
yeah,
Jack.
Jack. Yeah.
Jack is gonna be a sharpshooter soon with Mia as well.
He just has a
Very
feeling he'd
soon.
be good at it.
He has a feeling he'd be good at it.
That was a great
What
one.
makes you say you
was a
never
great one.
answered my dad's question? What was
question.
that?
Yeah,
What makes you think you'd be so good at protecting me? I just have a feeling I'd be good at it. All sexy. Like, okay, that was cute.
You know, in that let's wrap up the plot line kind of way.
Yeah. Save him for next episode. That's kind of what it was. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna play this tension out. Are we okay?
Yeah, that's like they may hook up, season finale.
Now, I gotta admit, when I saw Rizzo in the phone booth on the phone, I thought that he was in cahoots with Milwaukee for a second because it was right around the time that Jones had made a phone call saying he needed more guys after he wasn't able to nab Savino the first time. So next thing you know, Jones makes a call. He needs more guys. You see Rizzo in the phone booth, and you're like, what?
Actually,
is going
now that I
on?
think about it, now that because I didn't even I'd forgotten that they had set that up until just now. So keeping in mind how they wind up paying it off, do you guys remember what he actually said on the phone?
He said it was something in the vein of what made sense at the end. I can't remember verbatim what he said, but the gist of it was it's about to go down.
It's about to go down.
Right. So whatever, blah, blah, blah. And you would have thought that it just made me think that it was like, wait a minute, is he
One of the extra guys.
he cohorting with Milwaukee to uproot his own, to do something where he gets,
or something, because
he was obviously plotting still, but it just wasn't in the same way that I thought.
Because he said to Angelo earlier on that why do we need Vincent? Maybe we don't need Vincent.
Right.
And I thought it could have been in that vein. But then what does Savino say to him when they're out in the middle of nowhere at the very end? Does he say something like, how did I do? Or does he say something to the effect that he was in on it with Rizzo? Like, did he know, or was he completely surprised? Because I was still a little hazy on that at the very end.
No,
I think he was
totally
surprised.
surprised.
Yeah, he was
Okay,
caught off
that's what I
guard.
thought.
Yeah, he really thought he was going to be the one to get whacked.
Yeah.
I mean, when he kissed his wife goodbye, and his right hand man had that look on his face, like, don't go, don't go, don't do it. He had his eyes like big, like you better have to go to the bathroom and take a crap or something. Like,
Don't go.
You know what? I had a little too much jambalaya earlier. I think I had a bad shrimp. I'm gonna take a dump real quick. Drop some kids off at the pool. Just, give me a minute. I'll climb out a window and been gone. Something.
Jambalaya sounds so good right now.
It really does. Especially Vegas jambalaya.
Oh yeah.
From the buffet.
From the buffet
Well,
at the Savoy
well,
in 1960.
I thought what
Yes,
was
ma'am.
interesting is we got to see a little more of Dixon's character tonight.
We did.
Yeah.
He got a little ballsies when he confronted Savino.
That was awesome. Didn't see it coming.
Jack Lamb voice too. Did you hear that? You
Yeah.
hear his little,
And he's like,
Oh,
I'll take
yeah.
you outside and kick your ass.
I thought it was cute. It was cute. It was
cute?
No, it was cool at first, and then it became cute.
Then it was like, oh,
Kind of like why Savino looked at him and was like, "What's up with your boy?
Yeah.
You better get your son." Like looking at him like,
But in all honesty, if Savino can't shoot well, I think actually Dixon will whip his ass.
do you think Dixon wouldn't
True.
whip Savino's ass?
Yeah.
No.
if it was like
He's
a
younger.
fisticuff,
He's
you know.
younger.
Yeah,
he's
if it-
younger.
if-
He's
you know.
stronger. I mean, he's
No.
old. He's
well,
chunky.
who said anything about who's stronger? There's a difference between young boy energy and grown man strength, like scrumph. There's a big difference.
My money's still on
discipline.
No, Dixon will get his
Focus.
ass whipped.
Dixon. Well,
Dixon's a kid. He's a
You know,
young
we may
man.
never find out actually.
Who knows? But I can tell you what
you
kids
remember-
do. I can tell you what
Do you
kids
remember
do.
when Savino knocked that guy out for stealing his money last week? Or was that 2 weeks ago?
yeah, but the guy, it was an open shot.
No, that's not the point. The point is how.
If the two of them go outside and scuffle, I think
Dixon's gonna lose.
I think Dixon will whip his ass.
Vegas Riders.
You think Dixon will
Write that
his own
scene
daddy's ass?
and let us know.
No, I mean his dad's a lot.
You don't
I
have to
mean,
put it in the episode.
if
Just
you-
let us
if you-
know.
That's the match. That's the
Tweet us.
matchup.
If you had Lamb and Savino, of course.
That's the matchup, not Dixon.
well.
Part of fighting is not just strength; it's experience. It's like playing a sport.
True.
That kid, he's
Knowing
not,
what
he's
you're
not gonna whip.
doing.
He's not gonna whip CV. It's not any competition. That's why he's looking at him smiling, like okay.
He's like, okay, and,
like-
and you are.
He's like, okay, what's going on with your son?
Well,
Like-
of course that's natural for. Well, I just think Dixon will win. Whatever. Let's move on. So
Who knows?
It's an interesting point.
I'm
Now
Team
curious.
Savino on that.
Well, I'm Team Lil Dixon, but let's
See,
continue.
And
I'm Team Jacob.
I am Team iTunes.
Right.
So what you guys need to do is go on iTunes and comment, rate, and subscribe to all of your favorite AfterBuzz shows, especially Vegas. You can go ahead and it'll arrange all of the podcasts there for you. And let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about us. Let us know what you think if Savino would beat Little Dixon, or if Little Dixon would whoop on Savino.
Do
so
we call him Little Dixon?
I just named him. I just baptized
Okay.
him Little Dixon.
New hashtag.
right now. Hashtag Little Dixon Rancher Justice. So yeah, let us know.
I think by calling him Lil Dixon, it speaks
It
for
tips
itself.
it into
There you
yeah.
go.
A little bit.
Let's go to.
Before we get into that, the whole productive custody when Savino was actually at the house, I thought it was really interesting how the two of them, they kept jabbing at each other the whole time.
Yeah.
I live to cook. I live to eat. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
it
it
shows
shows.
showing that he's a little bit on the chunky
And-
side. Oh, go ahead.
No,
I
he said,
was just
I
gonna
eat to
say,
live.
Bamm-
I eat to live. I live to eat.
That's the difference between the two of them.
Right.
That's why it's so fascinating to see them at a sit down at a table having a steak dinner, which
With
is
no
what
knife.
Savino does every night with his guys.
Yeah.
Except now he's in Lamb's kitchen,
In his
where
house.
he's got his suit jacket off and he's
Handcuffed.
there's
Yeah.
nobody else around,
And there's no knife for him to eat.
and there's
steak.
no knife. And
He doesn't even trust him
Lamb
with a
can't cook
butter
it.
knife.
Well, it would have been steak knife because everything.
You catch it, nah.
I mean, a butter knife is better than no knife.
That's true.
All I need is just the fork and just your teeth.
And then how's he
That's all I
cutting
need.
it with his handcuffed?
Well, he could just pick it up and just eat it like it's
Just,
you
yeah,
know.
that's-
But he
you guys
wasn't
are
eating
palms.
that. He was eating.
He didn't even eat the steak. Actually,
Yeah, he
didn't eat the
probably
steak.
didn't. He didn't really have time. They were too
No,
busy
he
talking.
did.
and
There
then
was
the-
he did. He took a piece of it.
did he?
As
No,
he
that
was-
was the side grub. That was like beans or something.
Okay,
Goulash.
as he was digging into why he didn't his wife.
Yeah.
Which was interesting because we have been kind of figuring out. We
Right,
kind
what
of
was
wondering
going
like
on.
who's the
Who was
woman?
that woman,
Who's the woman in the dream? So
Yeah.
potentially his wife. His wife died in a car accident
While he was in the army.
while he was in the army, and he chose not to be.
While he was on his second leg. Like
Now, what
after
do you
he got
guys-
an opportunity to come home.
Right. I'm sorry to cut you off, but why do you guys think he decided? Do you feel like they're developing his character fast enough? Is it developing soon enough? Is it?
Well-
I mean, do you really feel like this is something that I would have liked to have seen revealed earlier? But I don't know if it's maybe because we had 2-week breaks, so maybe that's part of the reason why it seems like it's kind of
Lengthy.
Yeah, it's been dragged out a little bit, but I would like to see him, get more to like why did he decide to stay back at an older age, away from his family, in the service, doing whatever, who knows what was going on with his family. I mean, Jack has already, said like, look, I was the one raising your kid while you were blah blah blah, while you were in the service. So why was he dedicated to the service so much and sacrificed being away from his family?
I think
we'll
that's
find out.
I think that's something that's going to be played out. It needs
Yeah.
to be drawn out because I mean
Yeah.
they are going a full season, and so I think that's something that we can figure out time by time as he's adjusting to his new environment. Obviously, as a new sheriff. Did you also notice that Dixon, doing work, he referred to Lamb as Dad? That was the
Yeah.
first time he.
Did he?
Yeah. He was like, "Hey, Dad."
He referred to him as Ralph before then?
He just, I don't
No,
know.
he's called him
A
dad
sheriff?
before.
I think he's called him Dad.
Other episodes, he's called him dad.
Yeah, my bad.
That is interesting. That is definitely something they're gonna stretch out for possibly the entirety of the show.
Yeah.
Would be
Right.
my guess,
Yeah.
as they don't have to go into any of it. It's that thing where you're always looking out for it, and when you get a little bit more insight into our main character, whom we see the front of every week, we know justice is very important to him.
Right.
And we saw from a little bit of scenes in the next episode that I think a soldier is killed, and he's saluting, and he takes that very personally.
Yeah, he's very adamant about finding who that is. Just one more thing that I have to say for the protective custody is why did he keep him handcuffed when he knew that? Why did Lamb keep him Savino handcuffed when he knew that there was going to be more than just one guy out there?
He
And then,
just
of
didn't
course-
trust him.
Yeah.
That's why I really think it comes down to is that
boiled down, yeah.
he still just like didn't trust this guy at all.
He thought he didn't need
know.
him.
Yeah, probably, and
then
that too.
Yeah, and then of course once he takes everybody down, then of course Jones pops up, and then Savino somehow finds something to break loose of the handcuffs, and then the two of them are working together to take down Jones.
Yeah.
It
Boom.
was probably
And that's ultimately the only way it would have worked.
Right.
it was
so-
probably Lamb's butter knife. He just wanted that knife so badly.
But you know what I like? I like how when you think that, and this is in any movie, any TV show, when you think your main character is gonna get it, right? The antagonist has to say something before they pull the trigger or before they stab them, just to give the little extra beat. So then, this miraculous Hail Mary pass can
Yeah,
get completed.
because Jones said something to him. What did he say about?
He said, "You think you can
raise that
pump action
before I can pull this trigger."
Exact phrase. Okay,
Yeah.
you think you can raise that pump action?
And then
He said, "You got me there."
what did Lamb say once he had the opportunity?
He said, "You think you can reach that gun before I blow your head off?"
Yeah.
Now, see, this is the part of shows that I don't like, but it's television. Now, based on the character, Jones's character, his main goal was to get to Savino. There's no time for small talk with the sheriff. Like, the dude comes out, he said, hey, sheriff, this isn't about you. We came to get, he's not thinking about Ralph Lamb. He's not the center of their universe. He's just some small town sheriff. Like, they're coming to get.
They've never met him. They have no concept
Exactly.
of him.
So they're coming to get Savino. Like, do you think you can raise? Jones would have popped him and been. He might not have killed him, but he would have shot him.
Yeah, that's a good point because he's been so quiet and smooth and calm the whole episode, and then all of a sudden now he wants to have a one-liner like he's
It's cocky.
Clint Eastwood.
It's cocky. That's kind of what He's like,
And it's ultimately his downfall.
So he wasn't the pros pro.
If he hadn't taken that moment, he might have come out on top by the end of it. But
and then Vegas will be over. So
Yeah, and the season
Vegas
would have
been
been.
Oh, that's
no.
why they didn't.
And that would have been
because he could have taken a slug and he might not have died.
Caught one in the shoulder too, just
The arm,
And then-
the hip,
That would have been crazy.
the throat. Who knows? I mean, hey, they got people, as you know, tobacco. He could have been doing that for the rest of his life. You know, I mean,
Would have been a different show.
it would, but it would have been a great PSA. So,
every episode.
So,
Don't shoot people in the throat.
you don't want to shoot people in the throat. I'm interested to see what's going to happen next week with this whole formulation thing. I'm starting to like Rizzo.
he's at least less of a.
To me, he's
He's a gangster. Rizzo is a
bad dude.
gangster.
He's a gangster.
He's less annoying.
But let me tell you this about him, what I don't like about Rizzo. Rizzo doesn't seem to, he's like necessarily follow the rules, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a protocol. He kind of breaks the lines of protocol. His tone, his whole vibe is like, I've set my own rules based on, even though that I'm in this organization, quote unquote, and there is a protocol and there is procedures and how we do things to keep order. I'm gonna do what I want to do, how I want to do it. This is the perfect opportunity for me to take advantage of it.
He does the ultimate. He's always been doing that in little ways, in basically every way he can since he came into the picture. But now, with Angelo, this is just a full out coup. This is more than just procedures I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna go all out for it.
I was sad to see him go.
Oh, as was I.
Were you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He had it coming.
I've always
He was
liked him.
benevolent. He
I've
was
always-
smart.
I've always liked him since seeing him in Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh,
And
bro.
Breaking Bad. He's awesome in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I didn't miss seeing him go.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Because to me, it really pushed the story way forward.
It does.
Into where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
So, are they still? Wait, what I don't remember. Are they still giving the tumbleweed to Milwaukee?
I don't think so, because I think that's what.
That's why they whacked him off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, are you saying because Rizzo says after he does it is that Chicago didn't want Angelo to give him the tumbleweed?
Yeah.
You're saying Chicago was on board with Rizzo,
Rizzo.
whacking Angelo?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought he was just completely rogue and he was
No.
just like
The boys
taking
back
over.
home thought that Angelo had gotten weak,
Yeah.
and that's what
Oh, and
he had
that's
soft,
who he was
yeah.
on the
He got
phone
soft,
with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's who he was talking to, and they made the choice. It's like, let's go ahead and
Cut our losses.
Yeah.
right. But you know,
Natural order.
I mean, if you think about it, though, screw Milwaukee. If you think about
Yeah.
it, you're a boss. You're in your
Like-
own city.
Like you're like really like. Do you know what city you're talking about? You're talking about Milwaukee. You guys are Chicago. You guys are Chicago.
Chicago.
Milwaukee.
But the Brewers
What is that? What
and
is
the
Milwaukee?
Bucks. No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
No. Okay.
They don't exist then.
No, I think
1960.
I think-
They exist.
yeah.
But I think that you don't care. You're the head of the Chicago crime family. You don't care.
Yeah.
You're like, we're taking the tumbleweed and we're gonna keep the Savoy. And if you want to come start something, you come start something. I mean, he wanted to keep this peace, this quote unquote peace, but these guys didn't even have a foothold out there in the desert. So where would the war have been?
Yeah.
They could have come to Vegas and stirred up so much, but they didn't have an establishment out there. So they would have just been, it's like not having home court advantage. They would have kept coming and kept getting bumped off. All you had to do was send a few more guys under Savino's command to the desert. That's all you had to do. They have more soldiers in Chicago. And that's what Rizzo did.
Yeah.
That's why he popped Angelo.
Back of the
The
head.
old man.
Reinforce that infrastructure.
See, in the mafia, that's why you do not. This is the PSA. Do not join the mafia, because what happens is, when you get old, they don't put you in retirement homes. They convalesce you to a grave. That's what happens.
Oh, that's funny.
So
That's
here's the
funny.
mafia.
That would be very interesting.
Except for
Gentlemen,
Swedish House Mafia, they don't do that.
gentlemen, I've enjoyed working with you guys. Now I am 67. I have.
Let me let you
I'd
finish.
like to spend some time with my grandchildren. I have a pond. I have a nice property on a lake up in Washington.
I want to do some fishing.
I won't say anything to anybody. I swear.
Just let me live, please. Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah. So
Is it me? But I thought Laura was extremely hot tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's talk about
I think she
Yeah.
often is.
She was-
but yeah,
she was
but
very
she was
sexy.
the epitome of hot tonight
yeah.
And why is
She
that?
was a
Bam?
strong wife.
Why is that?
because she's gangsta. She's got her husband's back.
Yeah. And she
And
go
his
ahead.
friend.
Yeah, go ahead.
From the election to getting Grady to win, she organized the book. I forgot what the book was, but it had something to do with Grady saying something in regards to Bennett, and so Grady didn't like that, and she was like, "Oh,
Oh, the
you know,
communism ad
yeah.
comparing Bennett's
To Stalin.
to
right?
Stalin.
Yep.
Yeah. And then there was a couple other things that she did that she had his back, where, when Savino was,
She's very good at keeping things very silky. It's like very
She's a lot like behind the
seductive.
scenes
Yeah.
work.
Everything she does is very seductive in a very, very strong political manipulative way, and it's not that on the head. It's not even like she's not even manipulating, like hitting on the head. She's very seductive, like, let me handle that kind of thing. And he knows when to shut up now. He kind of lets her
Yeah, I let her go. And
do her thing.
And even when he had to go into protective custody, and he was like, "I need you to go, get away. You're gonna use a name. You're gonna use alias names that we use when we're in Tampa." And she didn't flinch not one time. She was like,
No.
"Okay."
What am I
She
gonna
was,
see
Yeah.
yeah.
you? He said, I don't know.
She wasn't like often you might see a gangster's wife in a movie that flipping out in those kind of moments. And
Right.
She's like, no, obviously the sheriff's right there. Obviously there's the dude watching her, and she's done that before. They've gone to Tampa.
And you got to remember, her dad was like a gangster too, I believe.
Yeah.
So she's familiar with
Makes
the
sense.
life. That's another reason why she wasn't going to tolerate the lying and all that. It's like, dude, are you serious? Don't you think I've been around this since
I'm about this life.
since I'm in diapers? So don't lie to me.
Oh, that's what he
No more secrets.
All right.
You know,
Excellent.
love Laura. Laura's the bomb.
I love it.
I want to see Carrie-Anne.
She had a nice little cameo.
Have
little
more,
more.
like have more, like actually have more lines or more scenes.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
needs some more.
something more. I mean, a little more interaction with her and
She's
Laura.
really great
have
at
to
just sort of
create-
standing there in the sheriff's station and just kind of like leaning over and then like oh yes, we're gonna need to get more information on him.
Right. That is what she's doing.
That's what she does.
You hit on the nail, but just looking at you pretending to be her is just the ugliest sight.
It's the mustache. I think that's what it is. Just imagine Carrie-Anne had the mustache. You know?
You don't think it would look good on her? You don't think it would look?
And just the way you kind of did your
Hi,
You've been
Ralph.
practicing, huh? That's what it was.
I go
You've been
home
practicing.
after we do the show.
As soon as you get out of the
So-
shower.
The wrist went limp and everything.
Yeah, he was in there with it. You committed all the way.
Hi, Ralph.
Tucked his Adam's apple in and everything. See that?
How do you even do that?
He said, "Tuck those out of the ask RuPaul."
The more you know.
It knows. The more you know.
No.
No, that one. Okay, no.
That's fine.
No.
There you
There
go.
There it is. Okay, so you guys are ready to go into news and gossip yet?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so What can I tell you?
Great segment, Thaddeus.
Vegas is still number one for his time slot. Still doing great. And it got greenlit for the full season, what, last week?
Couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago. Yeah.
You're late.
I'm not sure we mentioned that 2 weeks ago.
We did.
You
We
did.
did.
Shut up.
I think it was the day that you was drinking your
Like
Chocolate.
three.
Oh, that's when I was drinking the chocolate,
The,
chocolate Coke, the chocolate
Ooh.
chocolate juice. But yes, so we are very proud of Michael Chiklis and Dennis Quaid.
still the new
That's
number one.
the new news, and we're still
The new number one.
the new number one.
We've been
On CBS.
Vegas on CBS. We're proud of you guys.
But what will be even more hot, and so we got the new number one show of the season so far. It'll be really great if we can be number one, AfterBuzz, iTunes. So
Yeah.
just to reiterate, please go to iTunes, download, rate, comments. Please tell a friend, because just like they're number one, the after show for Vegas wants to be
Exactly.
number one.
Number one.
We've got some tough competition. I mean, who's
Scandal.
Homeland.
Scandal's taking it down.
Scandal, Homeland, Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who's up
These
there.
shows are like, we're all like,
Housewives, X Factor.
Then Dexter is like right up under there.
All quality
Yeah, he and I-
AfterBuzz shows, but
yeah, he and I both
better
do.
than Vegas, better than Vegas AfterBuzz show.
I don't
I
think
think
so.
not.
I'm sure it's not.
That's right.
Positive is not. Inconceivable.
Although you do Homeland,
love that.
and
We
you
do
guys are
Homeland.
and you're number one a lot.
We are number one a lot.
When we're not number
Homeland.
one.
It's
Yeah, we have
okay.
to-
It's okay because we will be number one on AfterBuzz and number one in your hearts.
All right, I'm feeling like Kobe right now. We're gonna work it out.
Don't forget, you're my number one customer.
Number one listener. All right, let's
right.
go to predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV
Are you not shaving from the window?
Predictions. Okay, so after this episode, going into next week's episode, episode 8, what do you think is going to happen from this point now that we've had such a dramatic change, almost like
Shit.
a color of the changing of the color of the guard in the Chicago crime family now? Predictions, week 8, Bamm Ericsen, go.
Damn. Can you pass?
You said pass.
I was still trying to take in.
We can come back.
Bamm
We'll
Ericsen
come back.
passes.
Yeah.
Predictions, week 8, Alex Salem.
Hi, I'm Alex Salem with your Week 8 predictions from Alex Salem. I predict for Week 8 that we are actually going to see our boy Jack and Mia
Yes.
go on a date
Yes.
or more. I think we're actually going to move in that direction. And over at my overall for the rest of the season prediction, like in general, next couple episodes, we're going to see Lamb and Savino get tested in some kind of situation where they have to remember, like, oh, right, we had that thing where we had dinner and, like, we're kind of, like, similar, you and I, and then, you know, we shot that guy, and you're all right. You're all right. And they're bonding a little bit.
Right.
Good prediction.
Week 8
Good prediction.
predictions. Nick Perdue, go.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a whole lot of fun between people who you wouldn't necessarily think would hook up. There will be a lot of, I think, just random hookups
In the
coming
60s.
within, yeah, because they're getting ready for the 70s. So
They're in, like, 61. Yeah.
But okay, I mean, but
Maybe
for,
60, maybe.
like just I mean, there were still babies were still being made, so people were hooking up. So I think that there will be some random hookups that you won't necessarily see coming. You're like, why is he with her? Kind of, And and I also think that Savino and Lamb's friendship now will be tested once again.
Okay, that's a good one. Well, my prediction for next week, or the next couple of weeks, is that there's going to be some sort of power struggle between Rizzo and Savino. There has to be, even though Savino feels saved, quote unquote, by Rizzo, is not because Rizzo's looking out for Savino. Rizzo's looking out for Rizzo.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some sort of power struggle with, he's not going to take, he doesn't take it, I don't think he's going to take it very easily having to answer to Rizzo, because he respected and loved Angelo in a fatherly sort of way, even though his dad was gonna have him whacked, which was whack. So, but anyway, there's gonna be some sort of power struggle there. There's gonna be some conflict. It has to be, because and then you have to deal with Milwaukee, because they're not gonna ante up. The Tumbleweed's not gonna get ante upped. They're not gonna give it up. So we're gonna definitely see some more trouble with the Milwaukee crime family.
It's the future of Vegas at stake.
Well,
That's true.
there you go.
The neon lights.
All right, Bam, you've had a lot of time to think about it.
I was trying to drag it out so you can.
I got
Moment of truth. You're
Okay,
on.
cool.
ready.
Week 8 predictions. Bamm Ericsen, go the second time.
I don't think that Savino and Lamb. I disagree with you guys. I think they're gonna totally go into a different. They're gonna totally go back into being against each other, and especially being that he went there with the whole wife thing. That's probably going to be in the back of Lamb's of his head. I do think that
Savino owes him a cheap shot.
yeah.
He does.
Yeah.
He owes
Yeah,
Lamb.
one of his hands handcuffed. He couldn't retaliate.
I
He
think
decked him from the back, from over the shoulder too. He wasn't even facing him. He was like standing behind him, and he decked him.
Those old mafia hit.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a little
That
rancher,
was insane.
rancher mafia.
I think Jason and Mia, we're going to see progression,
Jack and Mia.
but
Jason Amara.
Jack and Mia, I see
No,
progression.
as the actors, like
Yeah.
like off camera. We're talking about
like,
them.
TMZ.
like in the trailer.
Yeah.
Slow progression.
Headed to supper club.
You know, they may kiss and make out by February, March, but it's going to be a slow progression. They'll probably go out on a date. And then I think we're going to see more of Dixon. And this has nothing to do with the fact that I think Dixon will whoop Savino's ass. I think it's just because he's starting to emerge. He's starting to become a good cop.
Yeah.
And his dad is starting to recognize and see that. So,
All right.
Okay.
Good prediction. Good prediction.
All right. Sounds good.
thanks.
There you go.
It's not bad. Not bad at all. All right. Thank you guys for joining us this week. And where can we find you, fellas? Alex, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Alex Salem.
And you can find me on Twitter at the Nick Perdue.
And you can find me at Bamm Ericsen.
And you can find me on Twitter at Club Thaddeus, CLUBTHADDEUS. Until next week, After Buzzers, thanks for joining us here for this episode 7, week 7 of CBS's Vegas.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.